Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Way Forward Workshop Leader Lunch Break, where we are thrilled to welcome Tony Sias. The word Karamu means joyful gathering place or feast in Swahili, a place of unity, creativity, and celebration that honors African heritage and culture. A journey into our Karamu House Theater is a feast, a convergence of creativity, entertainment, and powerful thought. The strategically creative catalyst behind the reboot of Karamu House over the last 8 years is Tony Sias. Tony Sias has spent his career working in and advocating for the arts in Greater Cleveland. In his early career, when not performing on stage, he was found leading arts education programming at the Centers for Families and Children and at the Murtis Taylor Human Services System. He then moved on to teaching, directing, and leading at the Cleveland School of the Arts and ascended to Director of Arts Education at Cleveland Metropolitan School District. He is now at home leading artists and inspiring audiences from the walls of Karamu House, where he is determined to bring the feast of the arts to all in our community. Karamu House, as you probably know, is the oldest African-American producing theater in the country. Langston Hughes, Jackie Early, and Muhammad Ali enjoyed performances in this magnificent space. Tony is committed to preserving this rich legacy while building for the future. New spaces used by new faces. The turnaround in this institution since he took the reins in 2015 is nothing short of remarkable. Tony's dedicated work to restore and grow the current structure will ensure that the 109-year-old institution will be vibrant for another century. Among his many, many awards is a Tony nomination for Excellence in Theater Education in 2015, recognition as one of Cleveland's most interesting people and Community Leader of the Year, recognized by Cleveland Magazine, and recipient of the coveted Barbara Robinson Award from the Cleveland Arts Prize in 2019. And we are proud to say that he is a member of Leadership Cleveland 2024. Tony, you have more than a few cheerleaders from your class on this call. We welcome you to the conversation. Tony?
Thank you, Mary Ann. I was like, who's that guy she's talking about? And it is so great to be here with you all this afternoon and seeing so many class members and other familiar faces. I want to start this afternoon with sharing a history video about Karamu House. We're in the process of producing a new video, but I wanted to share this one to give you a snapshot of who we are and the work that we do. So let's share the video.
We welcome you into sacred space, onto ground that is legendary, into space that summons joy and pride. We welcome you to Karamu House. When segregation ran rampant in our history, we welcome all as freed slaves migrated north. Our home was a place of refuge, founded by the Jelliffs. Rowena and Russell Jelliff set new standards. A Jewish couple with the vision to unite and to uplift. A vision with an unapologetic value of diversity. An unapologetic commitment to excellence in the arts. Welcome to our home. A place that witnessed the lies society tried to push, that African Americans were not enough. A place that witnessed the abuse of African Americans physically and mentally and decided to make a difference, to be the difference. A place that decided to take a stand, a place that became a home to cultivate the work of artists with a special honor to Black artists, the home where Langston Hughes wrote verses and taught poetry, where countless playwrights of the Harlem Renaissance received support and space to develop their artistry. Shirley Graham, Conrad Sealer, Andrew M. Burris, Willis Richardson, and Zora Neale Hurston works were advocated for and produced with excellence. This is a place of inclusion, a place in which the halls were graced by Martin Luther King Jr., where the largest number of buses left Ohio to attend the March on Washington, where Rosa Parks spoke. A place for collaboration, a place that is firm in its integrity. This is Karamu House. Karamu, a Swahili word meaning a joyful place of gathering. We are a place of joy, where stories and dance, music and art are shared with quality and shared to make impact. Where programming, education, performances unite, showing the beauty in all of us, the talent in all of us, the value in all of us. For 105 years, we have been here in Cleveland, Ohio, where names known and unknown, young and old, have left marks that will never fade. Vanessa Bell Calloway, Ruby D, Imani Hakeem, Langston Hughes, and James Pickens Jr., and countless others. The place that is for you, for me, for all. Welcome to the legendary Karamu House.
Thank you. Our mission today is to produce professional theater, provide arts education, and present community programs for all people while honoring the Black experience. Karamu is about inclusion, and everyone is welcome. We historically, pre-pandemic, we were doing a 6-show season. Now we're doing a 5-show season. And over the last 2 years, we have produced Black Nativity in partnership with the Cleveland Playhouse and Playhouse Square. As a result of that incredible collaboration, we now are the first affiliate company of Playhouse Square. What does that mean? First, Karamu is not moving. We will continue to stay in our current location at the corner of East 89th and Quincy and continue to produce productions and our season and programming. What it does mean is that we will continue to produce in collaboration with Playhouse Square, that Karamu will be leading in the artistic portion of the collaboration, and Playhouse Square will be our producing partner in developing new works. We're very excited about that. And our goal is to create a pathway between both institutions. And one of the things that's really important to note is that when you include productions such as Black Nativity down at Playhouse Square, it then presents a balanced representation of arts and culture in Cleveland during the holiday season. So we can have the Nutcracker or a plethora of other productions. So we're excited to do that at Playhouse Square. And I have to say that Craig Hassel, the new president and CEO of Playhouse Square, is also a member of the class of 2024 here at Leadership Cleveland. This season, we opened with a production entitled Clydes. Then we moved to our holiday production at Playhouse Square, Black Nativity. We recently closed, as of Sunday, a Cleveland production called The Breakfast at the Bookstore that deals with 5 years after the Glenville Uprising, a young woman and her partner, she wanting to open a bookstore and he wanting to not have much to do with it. And it was a sci-fi drama, and it was really exciting to experience. Our next production coming up is called It Happened in Atlanta by local playwright Michael Oatman. And it deals with 2 college couples who are coming back for their law school reunion. And they then, little drinking and a lot of card playing, they reflect on what happened at Freaknik in Atlanta. And of course, Freaknik is around when most HBCUs, historically Black colleges, would come together in Atlanta during the 90s and celebrate. You know, some folks go to South Beach, but Atlanta was the destination for so many of us who enjoyed that period of time. So they then unfold what happened in Atlanta. So it's a world premiere as well. And then the closing show of the season is the regional premiere of a show called Choir Boy. And it is a coming of age of a young man who is dealing with a little bullying and peer pressuring in an all males high school, boarding school. So it's a coming of age story, and it's something to really, really experience. But we really want you to see It Happen in Atlanta, because I'm honored to be the director of that particular production. Since 2018, Karamu has been going through multiple phases of renovations. Phase 1 through 2, we put a roof on the theater wing of the building. We renovated the inside of the arena, the Jelliff Theater, and then the ancillary areas out around the Jelliff Theater. We were originally slated to begin phase 3 renovations in 2020, and a little something happened. So we all know what happened. So we got back on renovating for phase 3 in 2022. Phase 3 renovations include a connector, and it's really about ADA accessibility and public accessibility. And the rendering that you are seeing now is connecting the north side of the building to the south side of the building. So this is a four-season room that was an open patio area that we have enclosed. And it connects the north side to the south side. This is an outdoor stage, so we'll be able to have summer concerts. In the winter, it will be an event space, and it really creates a campus environment, and it really invites people into the Karamu campus. The next side thing that we renovated, and we can go to the next rendering, is the inside of the south side of the building, the arena lobby. So this brick wall, where you see the openings, was actually one brick wall, and we have opened that wall up, and we've created a bistro, and it is the Q89 Bistro, the Smucker's Q89 Bistro. We were very fortunate to have the investment by the Smucker family into this phase of renovation. And we also renovated the inside of the Arena Theater, which is now the Bank of America Arena Theater, which will be our space, but we will focus in on technical theater and workforce development. On this side of the building as well, we're really focusing in on more of our other forms of entertainment outside of theater, which will include our comedy series, our jazz series, and spoken word. Once you arrive at the corner of East 89th and Quincy, we have a brand new marquee that is active. And we want you to know that once you get to that corner, that you have arrived at a destination location in the heart of the historic Fairfax community. The pavers will be going down shortly. We'll be doing the landscaping later in March and April, but we're excited to welcome some of you in for a private tour. So if you're interested, please reach out, and I'd love to give you a tour. Last year, we were very fortunate to receive a challenge grant from the Jack Joseph and Morton Mandel Foundation for $4 million to kick off phase 4 renovations of our campus. We're excited to say that our goal is that this will be the capstone. People have asked me, well, how many phases you got going? I said, well, I don't have as many phases as my money can get me through. But I hope that this phase is the capstone. And if it isn't, there'll be a phase 5, but that will be it, or I'll be it, or be done. But we're gonna get it done. So it's exciting to note that phase 1 through 3 hover somewhere around $9 million. Well, our phase 4 campaign is a $10 million initiative. Of course, for every dollar that we get from, we get $1 from the Mandel Foundation up to $4 million. And let's look at that rendering. So this rendering is focusing in on the education and administration wing of the building. And it's important to note that this 80-year-old building does not have any air conditioning. So HVAC and electrics are a huge focal point of this renovation. When we were getting our numbers from our engineers, about 60% of the investment is HVAC and electrics. So we'll find some fixtures, but we gotta get some air. I tell you that, or my staff is gonna run out of here soon. And we don't want that because we are already a small but mighty team. So the education administration wing is where our offices are. We currently have a number of classrooms, so it would include our education, visual arts studio, our ceramic studio, a shared workspace. Our lower level would then have an event and rehearsal hall space, and we will then be renovating a number of our dance studios. An aspirational part of phase 4, maybe phase 5, is a skywalk connecting our education and administration wing to a freestanding building on our campus, which historically was for many years our daycare center, but currently it is a storage space that we have a vision to have a commercial kitchen in there, more education classrooms, and to be an innovation space as well. So we have been great stewards of investment through phase 1 through 3. We're honored to have the Mandel Foundation's commitment to Karamu House in the heart of the Fairfax community. And what we really do know is that phase 4 is a community initiative and a national campaign. So I'm going to put a button on my comments right now to look at time and open it up for any questions.
Tony, thank you so much for sharing just kind of the vision and all the work that's already been going into Karamu. Can you talk a bit more about the role of Karamu within the Fairfax neighborhood? What types of projects might you have to really engage with your neighbors?
I think the renovation itself has triggered a brand new level of engagement with our neighbors. When you drive down Quincy Avenue historically, you would look at the building and say, oh, that's an old school, and you kind of keep moving. That marquee on the corner has made people stop. We have literally seen kids walking home from school and look at the marquee and see what's being advertised and then stop and look at the building. And when I witnessed that, it brought tears to my eyes. So that people see that there is an investment in what has historically been a community that has not had the same amount of investment as other Cleveland communities have had. And so people are coming in. We're seeing that a number of street clubs are bringing groups to productions. We're working to engage more families in our programming, and that we are reestablishing our relationship with Bolton School. So I think just the investment in the property and something beautiful happening and coming up in the community is triggering community members to engage in a different way.
And as you are working through these developments and the campaigns, what are some of the challenges you are facing and how are you working to overcome those?
Well, I have to say supply chain issues are real, costs are exorbitant, and you better get domestic steel. So when you get diversified funding, those are some very real questions that people are asking. Where are you getting your materials from? You know, complete transparency in 2022, the phase 3 renovations were hovering somewhere around 3.8, 3.9 million. This project will complete at about 5.1, 5.2. So the cost increase are real. Some of the other challenges is that the subscription model in American theater has changed dramatically, and it began to change in 2018, prior to the pandemic. And so people were not buying memberships and subscriptions in the same way. Then post-pandemic, you see a dramatic shift and people are more interested in purchasing tickets to performances and events, a la carte. They do make those purchases later, not so in advance, because they want flexible options. And so we have to kind of model our do our modeling and projections based on that information that we have in terms of the turn of patrons not really buying into the traditional subscription or membership model, although we do have them available and we will continue to have them available. And we're being more nimble in terms of how we respond to the last minute requests for tickets and how we kind of hold inventory.
Let's talk about the pandemic because we know that that was very hard in the art space. So how did Karamu emerge and how might your programming have changed post-pandemic?
Well, Karamu did something that most theaters didn't do. And at the point that George Floyd was murdered, we knew that we needed to use our platform to communicate around racial equity in our country. So we produced something called Freedom on Juneteenth. And it talked about the historical trajectory of African Americans in this country for over 400 years. Our goal was to reach 10,000 people. In the first 24, 48 hours, we reached over 50,000 people from around the world. We continue to then share that virtually. And one of the things that we didn't do that other theaters did, this was not a Zoom production. And so when I say we went on the front line, we created our own COVID protocols aligned to that we knew at the time. So literally we had actors that had locations in the theater that you had that was your standby. We would then bring you onto the stage. We would unmask. This was before any COVID testing really was available. And we created that production. Then we went on to create Freedom After Juneteenth that was around the election. So we talked about voting rights, voting registration, and policing in Black and Brown communities. That was well received nationally and internationally. So our brand began to move beyond the footprint of East 89th and Quincy, and the quality of the work that we did really surpassed most because we had generous support from a number of banks in town. And what I'm most proud of is that we did Freedom on Juneteenth and the 3 episodes of Freedom After Juneteenth without episode or incident as it relates to any contraction of COVID. And so we were very pleased about that aligned to the CDC protocols and our additional precautions, we were able to keep our performers safe, and we were able to generate some income for those individuals during that time. So our brand has really been able to continue to benefit from reaching beyond our footprint. We're not doing as much virtual work as we did at that time, but there's a familiarity, and it does help as we we will publicly launch the Phase 4 campaign and some of the quiet fundraising that people are aware of who we are nationally, because this is a national campaign, Phase 4.
Can you discuss what programming you might have for children in any summer camps that might be coming up?
So we have after school and weekend programming for young people, lifelong learners. And this, so I say from the womb to the tomb. I don't know, people don't like that saying, but that's what Tony says. But lifelong learners. So after school and weekend, we provide exploratory programming and dance, theater, theater drama, and vocals. We do something called the Summer Arts Academy, and we don't use the word camp in the summer because it kind of seems like it could be a sundry of things. We really are focusing on mastery and excellence in the arts in all of our programs, but especially in the summer, because we have young people. I think our age starts at, it's middle school through high school. And we really want to focus in on mastery, that is project-based, and that there is a culminating experience that rivals any other quality high school production. And so that's really important for us. And mastery in the arts really was it was aligned to the foundation of our founders, Russell and Rowena Jella, because when you are looking for mastery and excellence in the arts, that's when you benefit and get all those other skills, life skills that you learn from it. You know, I'd love for everybody to go on and have illustrious careers like Vanessa Bell Calloway and James Pickens Jr. But we want to use the arts as a vehicle that young people and people in general, at its foundation, are positive contributing members to our community and society.
What was behind kind of driving the collaborations with both Cleveland Playhouse and Playhouse Square, and what benefits do you see coming from those partnerships?
Specifically with the Cleveland Playhouse, there was an opportunity that a show slot became available, that CPH, the Cleveland Playhouse, made a decision that they were going to diversify their programming at that time. And that so Karamu had a slot, and a couple of other organizations. So that was year 1. Year 2, that slot continued to be available as CPH continued to identify new leadership in both their artistic role and their managing director role. And what was beautiful, CPH's board chair walked into a technical rehearsal one day, about 30 minutes before I arrived, and Michael Meehan said to me after I got there, he says, "This is incredible. I couldn't tell the difference between the Karamu team and the Cleveland Playhouse team." Now, the Cleveland Playhouse is a union house. Karamu House is a professional house, non-union. But it just speaks to when you have competent leadership, a technical team who is skilled, you should see a seamless experience between staff. And so we were able to come together and work together as partners. As a result of 2 years of success, then, well, let me start back. I had a vision when I got to Karamu House in 2015 that Karamu needed an ongoing presence at Playhouse Square. When Craig Castle, new president and CEO of Playhouse Square, came in and looked at all of the different organizations and the success of our partnership with CPH doing Black Nativity, it was just the logical fit that to expand programming, that we don't have to be a resident company like the Cleveland Playhouse or the Ballet or Great Lakes, but we can be an affiliate and still benefit from the beautiful theaters that are there, to be able to say we want to provide diversity and inclusion programming for the Playhouse Square audiences, as well as our audiences being able to benefit from some of the specials we'll share between both institutions.
What's the target audience that you are still working on trying to attract?
People who are not as old as me. Uh, I said the other day, I have to admit, I'm a boomer. I was born in the December 20th, 1964. So the next generation is 65. You know, younger artists, and this is not just Karamu House, all institutions, the orchestra, everybody is looking for younger audiences. But I think when you look at younger audiences, what are you going to do differently to then engage them? And so these younger audiences are looking for experiences. So you can have a theatrical production, but what is that other add-on? What is that thing that then makes them want to FOMO, the fear of missing out, that they don't want to miss this thing? So it's looking at how you then look at programming and other events. And so we will continue to produce theater in our season, but it's our comedy, jazz, spoken word will be the thing that really attracts these audiences. And, you know, I'm going to share something with you all that nobody else knows, maybe not even Raquel, my colleague here. You know, as we talk about the show, it happened in Atlanta and at the Spring Break Experience Freaknik. Well, we were saying that 1 or 2 Fridays, we'd have Freaknik Friday, that you would wear your HBCU college swag or your fraternity or sorority wear and have a DJ. So that's an experience that then will then become people will see each other on Facebook, on Instagram, or as my mother would say, face picture and Twitter bug. And then, you know, you want to go to the next time. So we want to get you to the show, and then you want to have that experience to wear your college swag or your fraternity or sorority sweatshirt, t-shirt, or baseball cap. So those are the kinds of things that you have to think about. And there are a number of institutions who are doing a great job of creating experiences that further engage old and new audiences.
Tony, for those of us on the call, what can we do to help support you and Karamu House?
First of all, if you get an email from us, open it. Second of all, if there's a production that triggers an interest, come and see it. And even if it doesn't trigger an interest that even may sound interesting, come and have that experience. We're going to be opening our bistro. That's a part of our new campus that we want you to come in and call for a tour. And first and foremost, this Phase 4 campaign needs everyone's investment. And that Karamu is a legacy institution, a national treasure that we need to continue to share and celebrate. And so we need your investment. We need your support. We need your time, talent, and treasure. I see my friend here, Linda Kane. So I just want to say a special shout out, because my early days at Karamu, there was talent and time that Linda came and shared with us to help us get to where we are today. And there was some treasure there too, Linda, so I appreciate that. So it really is about investment and spreading the news that there's a national treasure right here in the heart of the city of Cleveland that we need to further elevate, celebrate, and invest in.
Tony, thank you so very much. It is abundantly clear that you are the joy that permeates every aspect of Karamu House. So thank you for bringing that to us this Wednesday. We are grateful.
It's been my joy and pleasure.